Today, we're diving into a really powerful lesson about being present, in our crazy, hectic lives. And our inspiration comes from a teacher you'd probably never expect. So let's start with a little riddle to kind of get us in the right mindset. Okay, so this comes from an anonymous poem, and it asks you to picture something that, let's be honest, sounds like a superpower for most of us, right? Imagine just starting your day, no caffeine, no pills, just natural energy. You're cheerful, and you're just ignoring all those little aches and pains. Sounds nice, huh? And it keeps going, painting this picture of, I guess, total acceptance. Think about it. Being genuinely grateful for the same old food every day. Or, get this, understanding when the people you love are just too busy for you and not getting bent out of shape about it. No drama, just complete understanding. Then it gets into this idea of emotional freedom. Can you imagine taking criticism and not feeling that sting of resentment, or just facing the world without any lies, any deceit? It's describing a life without all that tension and, the defensiveness we all carry around. And this one's a big one. Being able to truly relax without a drink or fall asleep without needing any kind of drug. We're talking about a deep, natural sense of calm, something that feels, well, it feels pretty rare these days, doesn't it? Okay, so you put it all together. All that patience, gratitude, unconditional love, this deep calm. Who or what could possibly be like that? What kind of being are we talking about here? Any guesses? You ready for this? The answer is you are probably the family dog. And yeah, it's a funny punchline, for sure, but it's also kind of profound, right? It's asking us to look at our dogs not just as pets, but as maybe, just maybe, teachers in how to live a better life. Which brings us perfectly to our main teacher for today. Meet Tucker, a nearly 100-pound golden doodle. And Tucker, well, he was a pretty special guy who taught one of the most important lessons you could ever learn, and he did it without saying a single word. So Tucker's big lesson came from something really simple he did on his walks. He would just stop, like a dead stop. You couldn't move him if you tried. He wasn't chasing a squirrel or anything. He was just stopping to take it all in. His owner started calling it a purposeful pause. Now, you can imagine, at first, this drove his owner crazy. I mean, he was like a lot of us, right? Addicted to being busy, always needing to check things off the to-do list. But after a while, he got it. He realized Tucker was basically inviting him to stop being a robotic human doing and start being an actual human being. And Tucker's simple little habit, it really holds up a mirror to how so many of us live our lives. We're constantly in this fog of busyness, right? Just always in motion, always rushing. We barely ever stop to actually notice where we are. And that's the danger of living in that fog. Life just flies by. It's like a series of blinks. Blink, the kids are in elementary school. Blink, they're off to college. Blink, suddenly they've got kids of their own, and you're just left standing there thinking, wait, where did all that time go? This feeling actually has a name. It's called hurry sickness. It's like constant nagging anxiety you get when you're stuck in traffic or you pick the slow checkout line at the grocery store. It's this modern disease, really, and it can stick with you for your whole life unless you actively find a cure. So what's the antidote? Well, it starts with taking a good hard look at our three most precious non-renewable resources, and those are our time, our money, and our energy. We have that saying, time is money, but they're not the same thing at all, are they? Money, you can always make more, you can lose it, you can earn it back, but time, once it's gone, it is gone forever. It's the one thing you can never, ever get back. So, the big question is, what are we doing with all this irreplaceable time? Well, get this. The average adult between 19 and 34 will spend the equivalent of 16 years of their life staring at a screen. Let that sink in. 16 years. So this is where we have to be really honest with ourselves. Let's do a little audit with your time. Are you actually engaged, or are you just mindlessly scrolling? With your money, are you buying things that bring you real joy, or are you just trying to fill a void? And with your energy, who or what are the energy vampires in your life? The constant worrying, the negative people. What's draining your battery? Okay, so once we have that awareness, what do? Well, let's look at a super simple, practical exercise, inspired by our friend Tucker, of course, to help us start reclaiming the present and fighting back against that hurry sickness. Here we go. It's a 15-minute purposeful pause exercise. For just 1 minute, you stop what you're doing and just look around. For 2 minutes, find something beautiful. For 3 minutes, think about someone you love who brings you joy. 4 minutes, list things you're grateful for. And then, and this is my favorite part, for the last 5 minutes, you do nothing, and you do it with all your might. No phone, no distractions, just be. And hey, if you're looking for extra credit, here's a whole list of Tucker-inspired ideas. Things like deliberately choosing the longest line at the store. Or when you feel yourself rushing, forcing yourself to slow down. Little things like lingering with a friend or just sitting in the sun without your phone. These are tiny acts of rebellion against being busy, and they really help retrain your brain.
And this really gets to the whole point of it all. The goal here isn't just to de-stress. It's about actively creating more joy in your life. And I love this Oprah quote: "Joy is a sustained sense of well-being and internal peace, a connection with what matters." That's what we're aiming for.
So in the end, every single day is a new chance. It's a clean slate. The sun's gonna rise tomorrow just like it did today. And that leaves us with one final question to think about. How are you going to choose to be present for it?